This is a sonic boom. It happens whenever an aircraft flies faster than the speed of sound. Today, it is a familiar phenomenon in aviation, but during the intense rivalry of the early Cold War, as nations competed in technological achievements that would eventually lead to the space race and countless other breakthroughs, another race was quietly unfolding. Just months after President Harry Truman announced the Truman Doctrine, the world will just witness the first of its own. During World War II, pilots encountered violent buffeting and loss of control as they approached high speeds. Engineers called this the sound barrier. To investigate the problem, the U.S. Army Air Forces awarded a contract to Bell Aircraft Corporation, an aerospace company founded in 1935 in Buffalo, New York. Their mission was to design and build an experimental rocket-powered aircraft capable of investigating flight beyond the speed of sound. Bell assembled a team led by Robert J. Woods. At the same time, the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, NACA, the predecessor of NASA, worked alongside the project, providing aerodynamic research, wind tunnel data, and later analyzing the flight test results. However, Bell's engineers knew that a .50 caliber bullet remained stable at supersonic speeds. Using additional ballistic data from Wright Field, they designed an aircraft that was, in essence, a bullet with wings. But the Bell X-1 had one major limitation: it could not take off on its own. Its rocket engine burned fuel so quickly that even with a full fuel load, it could operate for only about 2.5 minutes. To make the most of that short burn time, engineers came up with a different approach. Instead of taking off from a runway, the X-1 would be carried beneath a modified B-29 bomber and released at high altitude. On October 14, 1947, at nearly 25,000 feet, the Bell X-1 was released over the California desert. Moments later, test pilot Chuck Yeager ignited its 4 rocket chambers one by one. The aircraft accelerated rapidly as engineers on the ground watched their instruments, uncertain of what would happen as it approached the sound barrier. While reaching Mach 1 isn't necessarily dangerous by itself, some serious problems can appear as an aircraft approaches this speed. One of the biggest challenges engineers faced was a phenomenon known as Mach tuck. As airflow around the aircraft becomes compressed, shock waves begin forming, changing the way air moves over the wings and tail. This can shift the aircraft's center of pressure backward, causing the nose to pitch down and making the aircraft difficult to control. At around 43,000 feet, the Mach meter in the cockpit passed 1, and the Bell X-1 even reached Mach 1.06, becoming the first officially recognized controlled aircraft to fly faster than the speed of sound. While Chuck Yeager hit the official record of reaching Mach 1, some reports go even beyond this. 3 years earlier, a German Me-163 Comet flew by Heine Dittmar reported exceeding Mach 1. This claim mainly came from later accounts, like fellow pilot Mano Ziegler. There is also other incident of a Me-262 that accidentally reached Mach 1 while diving. Pilot Hans Guido Mutka described the aircraft entering severe buffeting and becoming difficult to control, then recovering as he adjusted the aircraft's tailplane. His airspeed indicator reportedly became unreliable around the critical speed. But the problem with these reports that there was no reliable Mach measurement, which puts some questions around whether they actually reached Mach 1. And the story gets even more complicated with George Welch, an American test pilot flying the prototype XP-86 Sabre. There are accounts that Welch may have reached supersonic speed in a dive before Yeager's flight, but once again, there was no reliable measurement at the time to conclusively prove it. All over the video, we have been talking about aircraft, but in reality, the first time humans studied objects moving faster than sound wasn't with airplanes, it was with bullets. In the late 19th century, Austrian physicist Ernst Mach began studying the behavior of projectiles moving at supersonic speed. In 1887, Mach and physicist Peter Salcher photographed the shock waves produced by a supersonic bullet, providing some of the first clear visual evidence of what happens when an object moves faster than sound. But who was actually the first to reach Mach 1? The answer depends on what you mean by first. Bullets were supersonic for centuries, rockets reached supersonic speeds, and several pilots who may have reached Mach 1 before Chuck Yeager. Achievements like this weren't simply about making something go faster than sound. The real achievement was understanding a completely new flight regime, and that knowledge quickly opened the way for new developments across aviation. After the X-1, aircraft technology began advancing rapidly. Engineers developed better swept wings, new control systems, more powerful jet engines. The same research also contributed to the development of high-speed research aircraft, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and spacecrafts capable of reaching the edge of the atmosphere and beyond.